These are the last shoes he wore, so these have huge meaning to me because these were the walk that he had taken, the struggle. First of all, Blake was incredibly smart, very technically, naturally smart. He had so much potential for just growing. I wish we had more video on him. He did not like the camera, he did not like video, and everybody that knew him said the same thing. He had such a gentle soul and a big heart. I don't blame him for getting addicted to drugs. I do blame him for screwing around when he was a kid, not taking life seriously. You know, that was something that he did.
I definitely think that there's like a stigma that people say, you know, oh, well, they could have helped it, you know, they did this to themselves, like, and I don't think that's right. You know, I think an addiction is a mental illness, and you know, once you're in it, and it's hard to come out of. And you can't do it yourself. You need support.
I mean, regardless of the type of family you come from, it's a human life that's been addicted. But you know, people are so quick to judge. You know, socioeconomics, and because now I think it's really getting attention because it's such a higher level of income that these families are losing people, loved ones, that it's really getting the attention.
I'll never forget the first time he told me he had shot up. You know, I wasn't, you know, scorning him and telling him how terrible he was. You know, I just pretty much told him that this wasn't something that he needed to continue to do and that we would help him. You know, it never really, like, truly affected our relationship to the point where, like, we weren't speaking or anything. But, I mean, he knew that it hurt me, and it was hard to watch him.
And people always wanted to, you know, say, you need to do this and you need to do that, and, you know, put their 2 cents in, basically saying you need to abandon him and do that. And it's not that easy when it's your child and your brother that you lived with and watched suffer and I don't want to say coddle, but we saw how sick he got, and I was not going to leave him somewhere for the wolves to come get him. He would not eat because drug addicts don't eat, they don't bathe, they don't sleep. Well, they sleep once they get the drug, but they don't care. It's a matter of just getting that drug. So I was making sure at least my son was in a safe home. He had a warm bed to sleep in. He had food. I described living with an addict and having a child that was an addict as watching my child swim in the middle of a lake, and I'm on the shore watching him drown, and I couldn't get to him. Okay, so that was our biggest fear toward the end of his addiction, that we were going to find him dead, that he was going to die. We just knew it was getting that severe with him.
Living with an addict is really, really difficult, just because day in and day out you see their struggles.
If he was sleeping, I mean, we would go shake him. It was just a constant fear of him being gone. Did have a talk with him about a couple days before he left for rehab, his last rehab, because he was starting to give me a hard time about it. And I said, listen, I just need to know if something happens to you at this point, because you're playing with fire. I need to know what you want. Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? Who do you want at the funeral? Because there are some weird situations in our family. You know, I started talking to him about it, and he looked at me and he goes, I can't talk about this. I said, you have to talk about this, because you're leaving this choice to me. And he said, it's not going to happen, Mom. And then I thought, okay, maybe I was being overdramatic. And then here we, 2.5 weeks later, I got the phone call, or the knock on the door. When I was driving my son around as he was withdrawing, I had no idea where to take him. I had no idea where to get resources. So I want to have an organization that, number one, somebody could just call or go on to the website and get help immediately. I drove around for hours with a withdrawing sick child in my car, and I don't want other people to have to do that. So we want to provide resources for not only the sick and addicted, but also sober, people that are sober, and also families that are grieving the loss of someone through addiction. So it's going to be a plethora of resources that circle around addiction.